tell you a story that is one of my all-time favorite stories. You can also get it in the library, I think. I'm not sure, because I read it when I was a kid. It's called Dooley and the Snortsnoot, and it's by Jack Kent. But this is my version of it, okay? You heard Dooley and the Snortsnoot before? Have you heard me tell it before? Okay, see, every storyteller has their own version. See, I got this accent. It's the only one I got, and I can't get rid of it. So all my stories are country sounding. Yes. All right. Once upon a time, not too long ago and not too terribly far away, there lived a giant. He was about as tall as two of these buildings on top of each other. And there was a mama giant, and she was about this much shorter. And they had a son named Dooley. But he was about as tall as he is. And poor Dooley, he wanted to grow. Sat around and he thought and he thought. His mama said, now Dooley, if you eat all your vegetables, you'll grow nice and tall. So man, he sat down and he was picking out on vegetables, eating vegetables left and right. He wanted to grow. But poor Dooley, he didn't grow a bit. And he got so upset. He went out in the woods and he was crying and he was going, I'm not a giant, I'm not tall, I'm adopted or something. And his daddy came and found him and said, Dooley, what's wrong? He said, I'm not a giant. And he said, wipe your tears, Dooley. A giant's a giant, no matter how tall. So we sat and thought about it. Now, one thing giants like to do, it makes them feel big and powerful, is go around scaring people. And what do giants like to say to scare people? Grown-ups, you can chime in, just in case they don't know these stories.
They'll put on a scary mask.
No, this is giants trying to scare people. What do they say? Okay, well, Dooley decided he was going around and he was going to practice fee, fi, fo, fun. So he went around all day in the forest. He's going fee, fi, fo, fun, fee, fi, fo, fun. Thought he had it down good. So he decided to go down to the village and he walks up to this little girl and he goes, fee, fi, fo, fun. And she did just what you did. She giggled. She goes, what are you doing? He goes, I'm a giant. She goes, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. And Dooley jumped. He had to admit she was much better at being a giant than he was. They got to talking to her, and her name was Katrina. And they started talking, and all the other kids came around and go, what are you doing? Katrina goes, we're playing giant. And they go, oh, great. So all the kids are going, fee, fi, fo, fun, fee, fi, fo, fun. And Dooley had to admit they were much better at being a giant than he was. But he made some great friends that day, and he went down to the village to play often. But poor Dooley, he was the first one out when they played tag. And always the first one out when they played Simon Says, and first one to be found in hide and seek, but he had lots of fun. Then one day, all the kids were out in the village playing, and around the corner comes a big, snarly, growly, fire-breathing Snortsnoot that likes to eat children for lunch. All the kids took off running around the corner, and Katrina tripped, and the Snortsnoot grabbed her. And Dooley goes, we gotta save her. She's our friend. They go, no, he'll eat us too. No, he says, no, she's our friend. We got it. So Dooley slips around the corner, quaking and shaking because he was scared. And just as the Snortsnoot had gotten finished putting salt and pepper on Katrina, he takes a jump and he jumps on the Snortsnoot's tail. Snortsnoot drops Katrina, turns around and looks at Dooley and thinks, well, one lunch is as good as another. And opens his mouth wide to take a bite. And Dooley goes, fee, fi, fo, fun. Snortsnoot stops, having never been fee, fi, fo, fun before. And a funny thing happened. Dooley had grown a foot. And the Snortsnoot said, that's even bigger lunch. And he opened his mouth wide open. And Dooley goes, feet! He grew 2 more feet. 5! And he grew 3 more feet. 4! And he grew 5 more feet. 5! And he grew 6 more feet. He was bigger and larger than the Snortsnoot, who took one look and took off running out of town and was never seen or heard from again. Now, to this day, Dooley's mom said he grew tall because he ate all his vegetables. And his dad said he grew tall because he was brave. But Dooley very modestly said he grew tall because it was about time. And all the kids said, come on, Dooley, let's play King of the Mountain and you can be king. The end.